Today on NewsWatch, bracing for Matthew, the Category 4 hurricane is expected to do serious damage. See where and when it is expected to strike. Plus, Battle of the Veeps. Tim Kaine and Mike Pence go head-to-head tonight. Our team has the preview. And 3 Christian missionaries tortured and martyred in Turkey. Nearly 10 years later, they're finally getting justice. But this wife extended mercy oh so long ago. And thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. A grim wait is underway as a deadly Hurricane Matthew slams into poverty-stricken Haiti. Raging floodwaters and disease are expected in its aftermath. Jamaica, Cuba, and even the U.S. are also bracing for the storm. Heather Sells is on this story.
Hurricane Matthew began hammering Haiti in the early morning hours, the impoverished island nation bracing for the worst. This video of Matthew is seen from the International Space Station, and it shows just how massive it is. The storm is unleashing winds of up to 145 miles an hour. Drenching rains are also underway, along with a dangerous storm surge.
As we know, we're not really prepared for the type of hurricane, but we're doing the best that we can.
So far, Matthew has killed at least 4 people. At this orphanage, workers boarded up windows and moved more than 60 children to the second floor. Forecasters are warning that more than 3 feet of rain could hit parts of Haiti, triggering deadly mudslides. It was just 6 years ago that a disastrous earthquake struck here, and there's great concern about many people still living in makeshift shelters. The storm also poses another deadly threat in the form of disease.
Unfortunately, the storm is going to kill people twice. It's going to kill them now with the wind and the water, the initial impact of it. But within the next couple of weeks, as the floodwaters recede, it's going to leave disease behind, a tsunami of death.
A cholera outbreak hit Haiti hard after the 2010 earthquake. Operation Blessing responded then with chlorine and safe drinking water, and it's doing so again.
Thousands of people have died. Hundreds of thousands of people have suffered this cholera. So what we started doing 5 years ago is manufacturing chlorine. Chlorine that we use typically to disinfect drinking water, but in times like this, we'll be using it for surface disinfection.
Matthew is moving at just 7 miles an hour, which makes it even more dangerous. It's advancing over Haiti today and is blasting eastern Cuba as well, about 50 miles east of the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo. Matthew will likely then move north through the Bahamas, and it may make landfall in the U.S. later this week. In Florida and North Carolina, they are taking no chances. The governors there have already declared states of emergency. Heather Sells, CBN News.
WikiLeaks' Julian Assange canceled his London balcony address and opted for a video presentation instead. Concerns for his safety prompted today's move. His presentation marked the 10th year anniversary of the organization, and political observers felt it could be an October surprise in the presidential election. Back in August, Assange said he had a major scoop that could influence the race. He spoke from the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Assange has been there for more than 4 years to avoid being extradited to Sweden to face alleged sex crimes charges. The vice presidential candidates square off for their first debate tonight. They are well-matched contenders who aren't afraid to talk about their faith. It is all taking place in a part of Virginia that helped to transform the nation during the civil rights movement. Jennifer Wishon explains.
Democrat Tim Kaine, Republican Mike Pence, 2 men with a lot in common. Both served as governors, in Congress, and both were raised Catholic, though Pence is now an evangelical Christian. Both candidates are comfortable talking about their faith. Senator Kaine defies church teachings on abortion, gay marriage, and capital punishment. Governor Pence upset conservatives when he caved to pressure by gay and other activists on a religious freedom law he pushed in Indiana. Tonight, the men square off at Longwood College, a small school in Farmville, Virginia. There's no doubt the pressure is on Governor Pence. After Donald Trump's debate performance and week of unwelcomed headlines, his campaign is relying on Pence to get the GOP ticket back on track. He's been practicing with Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker and rallying with his fellow Hoosiers.
I joined this campaign in a heartbeat because you have nominated a man for president who never quits, who never backs down. He is a fighter. He is a winner.
Cain prepared by reading and practicing with a Washington attorney. Sunday, he attended his home church in Richmond.
It's intense, but, I'm calm. Things work out the way they're supposed to. I'm calm.
Farmville isn't your typical debate site, but this town and adjoining Prince Edward County changed the nation. It's the birthplace of the civil rights movement. Before there was Selma and Montgomery, students were leading the way right here.
All of us walked out. I feel it was divine intervention to get that many students to follow you out.
Speaks was an 8th grade student in 1951 when she and her classmates walked out of the Moton School to protest inadequate conditions. The court case that followed was rolled into the landmark decision of Brown v. Board of Education, which desegregated America's schools. It was a victory, but in 1959, instead of integrating the schools, Prince Edward County shut them down for 5 years.
I was in a state of shock. It was devastating because school was everything to us in this little small town. There's a recreation, friendship, athletic stuff. Everything was done either in school or through the church.
These former students hope having the eyes of the nation on Farmville will help spread their story of sacrifice and perseverance.
One thing about these candidates coming in here that they need not overlook. They need not overlook that this was a proving ground. The civil rights and education started right here, in this house, right here, in the house of Moton.
It's likely to get some attention. Meanwhile, both candidates will have to do something they're not used to doing in debates, not talk about themselves all the time. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Farmville.
The U.S. withdrew cooperation efforts with Russia over Syria Monday. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended a nuclear treaty with the U.S. The U.S. says Russia failed to live up to the agreement for a ceasefire and humanitarian aid for the Syrian people. The Obama administration says it regretted Putin's actions and said Russia was the main destabilizing power in the region. A former football coach continues to fight for the right to pray at games. Coach Joe Kennedy made headlines when he was fired from a Washington State high school for refusing to stop praying on the 50-yard line after games. In August, Kennedy filed a lawsuit against the school district on the grounds they violated his religious rights. Kennedy also filed for a preliminary injunction that would allow him to coach while waiting on a ruling in the suit. That injunction was rejected, and this week he filed an appeal in Washington, D.C. The former Marine tells CBN News he is simply standing up for the principles he fought to protect.
I just want to stand up for, the religious freedoms that everybody's supposed to have. I served our country for 20 years to support and defend the Constitution, and I don't understand how the freedoms that are in the Constitution don't apply to people in America.
The coach tells us he is not looking for money. He simply wants his job back. Kennedy also told us he still plans to support his former players this season, even if he has to do it from the stands. And still to come, her husband was murdered by radical Islamists. 9 years later, she's finally getting justice. See our interview with the widow of one of the martyrs coming up. Three Christian men were brutally tortured and murdered nearly a decade ago in Turkey. Now a Turkish criminal court has finally sentenced the 5 men responsible to life in prison. The long overdue verdict sent shockwaves, but the fight for justice is not over. The men were living free until just a few days ago, and they are appealing the case. CBN's George Thomas spoke with the widow of one of the victims on our Christian World News program.
German citizen Tilman Geske was one of the men brutally murdered that day on April 18, 2007. Days after the horrific event, Tilman's wife, Susanna, publicly forgave her husband's killers. In fact, her act of kindness stunned the predominantly Muslim nation of Turkey. Joining us via Skype is Susanna Geske. Great to have you on the broadcast. Susanna, how are you and the kids doing?
Thanks a lot. We're doing very well.
The 5 men responsible for killing your husband have been sentenced to life in prison. How do you feel about this? 9 years later, you've been waiting for justice. How do you feel?
Actually, we feel released because we had so many years to wait for this final end. And last time we thought it was it. Now, this time they really made an end. So it's great to have it finished up.
Susanna, can you talk a little bit about the healing process that you have gone through the last 9 years?
Yeah, in the beginning, I really didn't know what happened to me, and I had lots of people around me, so they really helped me to go through all these different stages of this time. So the most of it, I was reading the Bible and praying and reading the Psalms, and especially Psalm 119 and Job. So and I had lots of people helping me through normal things, daily things, and then also to forgive people and to have established a new church really helped me. So
do you ever think you will go back? Are you hoping to go back to Turkey?
Oh yes, I'm only here because of my daughter.
And why do you want to go back? I mean, this is the land where 5 men killed your husband. Why do you want to go back?
Because I love the people there. I really love them, and I love the place. So I really want to go back there.
And the kids have all grown up in the last years. They're there in Germany, in college. Tell us real quickly how they're doing.
Oh, they're fine. My eldest is in Ankara, Turkey, studying their English teacher. My son is in Munich, doing well, and my daughter's here in Frankfurt with me, and she tries to finish high school.
Days after, as I mentioned, days after the attack, you publicly forgave your husband's killers. Susanna, what prompted you to do that?
Actually, it was the Lord Jesus Christ. They asked me to say something in the television, and I said I can't. But then I prayed a quick prayer, and I just heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Say that," and I just did it.
Christians across the Middle East today are suffering for their faith. You know what it's like to experience persecution firsthand. How do you pray for Muslims?
Oh, I pray that they find the love of God, that they can see that God, Allah, that He is really love, and that He loves them as well. This is my biggest prayer.
Okay, Susanna, 9 years later, after a horrific act of murder against your husband, you still continue to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ in love. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Such an amazing act of forgiveness. Years of broadcasting and the evolution of CBN News will take you back to the very beginning and show you how CBN News earned the name it has today, still holding your trust after all these years. These days, there are hundreds of cable television channels, and dozens of them are dedicated to news from all different perspectives. But in the early days of CBN, that was not the case. And by the 1970s, we realized we needed to begin broadcasting news from a Christian perspective. Here's John Jessup with the story of how CBN News began.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
Not long after its first broadcast, the 700 Club became the go-to source for Christians looking for inspiration and information.
When Jesus is going to come back and rescue that world.
And by the 1970s, with America in a moral crisis, Pat Robertson sat down with then Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter. Their discussion centered around a topic rarely discussed amongst newsmakers of the day, an interview about faith.
Yeah, I think the Bible says pray without ceasing.
That's right. That's right.
At that moment, CBN News was born. And over the next few years, Christians around the country began letting their voices be heard.
I, Ronald Reagan.
Leading to Ronald Reagan's 1980 election. CBN established a Washington bureau, and correspondent Forrest Boyd was there when a would-be assassin tried to kill the president.
Mr. Reagan was making his way through the Florida Avenue exit of the building when a series of shots rang out.
Viewers prayed with the 700 Club for the president's recovery. Reagan did, served out 2 full terms as commander-in-chief, and later thanked Pat for keeping the faith.
This is a nation under God, and as long as we recognize that, I think he'll help us. There's no question about it.
A news division formally began in 1982, and outside of America, the world was changing. radical Muslims were saber-rattling across the Middle East. In Lebanon, CBN became the first independent source of television news in the region. Farther down south, CBN opened an office inside Jerusalem to cover the latest news in Israel.
And no one in this ancient land is willing to predict what the next 2 decades will achieve.
As the Middle East was heating up, the Cold War was winding down. The Soviet Union collapsed, as did communism across Europe. Pat and Billy Graham visited a newly unified Germany after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Your vision of what you're going to do in Eastern Europe is one of the most thrilling things that I've heard.
In Russia, the government opened its borders. For the first time, Soviet Jews were allowed to leave for Israel. 1 million embarked on a journey of Aliyah, and CBN News noted its biblical significance.
Perhaps only a few are aware that they could be fulfilling Bible prophecy.
Back in the U.S.,
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
CBN covered the first impeachment of an American president in 130 years. And outside of politics, CBN News' Drew Parkhill was one of the first people to demonstrate a new technology on national TV called the Internet.
Just as television surpassed radio, this will take the place of television.
The information age ushered in a millennia filled with promise, although the big news at the start of the century centered around hanging Chads in Florida. And then, on one September morning, CBN News anchor Lee Webb was on the air for the biggest story yet.
A passenger jet has apparently crashed into the World Trade Center in downtown New York at about the 80th floor.
After the 9/11 terror attacks, people across America were looking for answers. CBN was at ground zero sharing stories of faith. As President Bush sent troops into war, reporters like Chuck Holton and Paul Strand followed them into battle.
And that will probably be our last position to reach any target inside the city.
To keep up with breaking events, CBN debuted NewsWatch, launched a website, and soon its reporters covered every major event in the world, from natural disasters such as Hurricane Katrina to the attempts at peace in the Middle East.
Anything but simple.
In the digital age covering the news, viewers can see David Brody interview powerful leaders on Capitol Hill, or Ephraim Graham sit down with the biggest names in show business. And at a time when faith in the mainstream press is at a low, CBN is a name that can be trusted. Its team of reporters have traveled around the globe, bringing back the stories that truly matter.
Now, when news breaks, CBN is there. But the true heart has never been for the headlines, at least not the ones seen anywhere else.
CBN News has given voice to the forgotten, the persecuted, and those standing strong in their faith. From health reports to the halls of Congress, CBN News is on the scene, standing on the wall as modern-day watchmen and proclaiming the truth from every nation to every screen. And of course, much of that not possible without you. Thank you so much for your support. Stay with us. We're coming right back. CBN shows are going viral in Indonesia and are now reaching millions of people digitally. The CBN team decided to reach a more digital savvy audience with the JC channel. It is the official YouTube channel of CBN in Indonesia, and it is getting a lot of attention. The videos showcase true stories of people's lives that have been changed by God. In 2015, overall, they had 11.5 million views, and this year, they're averaging 1.5 million views a month. You can find out more about what CBN is doing around the world by going to cbn.com/international. It is time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message I hope will inspire you and then motivate you to post, tag, tweet, and share it with others. If you're holding on to any hurt, pain, or frustration that someone else may have inflicted upon you, it is time to let it go. Remember this, holding on to the residue of a grudge is like sipping poison and waiting for someone else to feel the effects. In the end, you're the only one who suffers. That said, let go and move forward. Holding on to it is not helping you in any way. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about
at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here come tomorrow.